There's enough in your vortex to keep you thriving for 20 or 30 lifetimes. That's how dynamic it is. That's how big it is. And you want some of it. How are you going to get it? You got to get into receptive mode. You've got to think like your inner being thinks in order to be in that receptive mode.
In this current situation where my profession has been so taxed to the point that from the time that I was 4 and made house calls with my father, the Norman Rockwellian kind of a physician, and now what's happening, I'm totally disappointed and conflicted.
We are so happy about that, because when you say enough, when you say enough, what you mean is enough of me mucking around in life without my alignment. That's really what you mean. Enough of me not being able to control things I want to control. Enough of people that don't know what they're doing making decisions that are important to me in my life. Enough. But you see, all of that is flawed premise on your part. None of that is happening. What you're really saying enough to, what you really mean enough of me not utilizing my true empowerment, enough of me getting off of my path and not even recognizing that I am, enough of me proceeding without the whole of me being focused. That's the crossroads that you're at.
Sorry about this. I just feel that
Can you hear that?
That I'm struggling and trying to fight against the behemoth,
But you see, that's what's so wonderful about this conversation. Can't fight against them. And even if you could gather together with enough others to fight against something and get rid of it, it would just rear its ugly head in another way and in another way and in another way, because there's a flawed premise in it. And the flawed premise is that you have to fight against anything. The true premise is the only thing that ever slows you down or gets in your way is your own split energy. Mm-hmm. And right now you're giving something that seems to have a very good reason. You're using that as your excuse to split your energy. Mm-hmm. But what we hear from you, what we feel from you, what we know unequivocally is that what this is about is enough of my split energy. And we say, and enough of giving you the credit. Enough of giving the messed up healthcare system the credit. Enough of giving anything that I don't have power over the credit for me not having power. Enough. Because in the throes of that momentum, of course it's going to suck you down and you're going to have the experience of it, but you're also going to go to sleep tonight, and that momentum is going to subside and you can start another day. You can come back into your alignment, which is what you're fighting for. What you're fighting for is your alignment. Yes. You see, you can't control the current of the world. Esther said, Abraham, are we just supposed to go with the flow of what everyone else wants? And we say, no, that is not our message. Our message is decide what your flow is and go with that, but don't try to buck the current of those who are choosing a different flow. Mm-hmm. And if you just go with the flow, you just find what feels good to you. As you find what feels good to you, your alignment will carry you to everywhere you want to be. Just don't need anybody else to do anything different, because they've got a different perspective. They've got a different path. It's not their responsibility to please you. It's only your responsibility to clean up your split energy. And that is so darn doable. It's so doable. Mm-hmm. It's so doable.
Yes, I know. When
you come back to your power, the energy that creates worlds is flowing through you, and you can say, interception, please. Bam! Bam!
So I did that at the academic institution, and I had to resign because the numbers, the 10-minute slots, and all those things. And I said, this is not, people were writing notes before they saw the patients. I said, this is not done. This is not medicine.
But you see, don't continue to beat the drum of that. Don't continue to beat the drum of it, and don't continue to try to elicit agreement from anywhere. Just know what you know and let it go. Let those things you can't control go, while you garner alignment which you can control, which gives you ultimate control of everything that matters to you. Really, we're not kidding you. In the throes of it, we've said to people for a long time, start with things that are easier. Don't take your life's purpose or the thing that matters more to you than everything else put together and let that be the thing that you're using to try to show yourself that you can stay in alignment. Just get in alignment on the things that are easy, because it doesn't matter what subject you are using as your point of focus in order to get you into alignment. Alignment is alignment and will lead you to everything you've put into your vortex. So all the consternation and all the battles and all the struggles and all the wonderful contrasts that you've lived that has helped you define who you are and what you want, you put all of that over there. Now you've just got to find your path to it. And what is so confounding is I've spent my entire lifetime moving to this, and now you, whoever you are defeating me about this. Well, that feels really big, but it isn't true. It's only your split energy that ever has that defeating quality, you see.
Okay, so I guess more alignment. No, I mean truthfully.
More attention to alignment, more recognition of alignment, more recognition of not alignment, more catching it at the earlier stages, more caring about alignment, more accepting the futility of accomplishing alignments through the control of anything else other than your own direction of your own thought. It's so interesting because you can have an experience with this or this or this or this, and after a little while you say, wait a minute, I'm the common denominator in all of this, because I'm there in all of this, and there is a sort of pattern that's showing itself to me. And once you reach that place and realize that you have control over the vibrational offering, but it does take something that is really sincere and very serious. It takes a realization of the importance of your feeling good, because so many of you have sacrificed it to help that person feel good, and to help that person, and that one, 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 until you're depleted, you see. And the thing is, you don't get depleted when you stay in alignment. When you stay in alignment, you have enough for everywhere you want to focus it. But when they make you mad, when there's injustice, when you're fighting a battle, then you are splitting your own energy, and in that depletion you get weary, and then you say, either I give up or enough, I'm going to take a different vibrational stance.
Yes, and that's why I'm here. I don't want to give up, and I'm just going to keep at it. So
we want you to give up the battle. We want you to give up needing them to agree with you. We want you to give up your constant attention to the injustices, because you can't focus on an injustice. You can't defend or rationalize or even explain. You know those conversations.
yes,
Aren't they exhausting?
yes, completely, completely.
They are exhausting
Completely.
because they are futile, because they are wrong-based in terms of the laws of the universe, and most of all, because they are you choosing off path, you see.
And then
So what you want to say to all of them is, you know, I'd like to straighten you out because you're stupid and wrong. But in order for me to straighten you out, who are stupid and wrong, I would have to leave my path where all of my resources are. And I'm just not willing to do that anymore. Because every time I've done it, no, I've done it plenty, all you do is get stupider and wronger. You just get bigger. There's just more of you. Because it's easy when you know you're strong and you know you have resources. It's easy for you to do what somebody else seems to need or want, even if you can feel that it's not on your path. But after a while, it begins to take a toll on you, because your attention to it splits your energy. So what we are proposing to all of you, for just a little while, try it. You're going to like it, and you're going to come back into your true empowerment. When you bump up against something that doesn't feel good. Now, Start again. Esther said to us, Abraham, what do you think I should do about this? And we said, we think you should do what feels best to you. And Esther said, I am so tired of hearing that from you. We think you should do what feels best to you. We think that you should do what feels best to you every time. We think you should do what feels best to you. But before you can really know what feels best to you, you've got to practice feeling pretty good. You can't go from suffering and jump right into even have any clarity about what feels best to you, because when you've been suffering, all the choices suck so badly that none of them feel good. So it just feels like a crossroads. It feels like two bad paths, and that's what it is. Those are not good choices. But when you have cared about the way you feel, so you're feeling good more and more and more and more, so then something comes along and it doesn't feel good to you. And Esther said, but Abraham, I thought what you've been teaching me is that if I will unconditionally just focus on what I want, that the things I don't want will go away. I need to do it the hard way in order to prove my worthiness. And we say, we want you to prove your worthiness by understanding what feels good. We want you to follow the path of least resistance. We want you to get on the path that feels good. It isn't wrong for you to choose this rather than this, or this rather than this. That's why you were born into an environment of contrast, in a world where everybody gets to choose. Where it gets squirrely for you is that you all sort of get together and try to define what everybody should choose. And then you get into fights with each other about who's choosing what, where if you just understood you all get to choose what you want, when you line up with what you want, you'll find the power to feel the fulfillment and the exaltation and the exhilaration and the passion and the success and the fulfillment that you're reaching for, you see. You got to let everybody else off the hook and stop beating up on yourself if you choose not to play with them. But that's hard. Ooh. Shouldn't I be able to play with everyone? We say, that's a really conditional approach to life. Now you got to get them to behave. Or now you got to adjust your vibration. Now you got to give up all of the sifting and sorting and deciding and concluding and deciding and concluding and becoming. You got to rewind all of that in order to blend with this. Are you hearing us? Yes. So the question is, am I in alignment with who I am, or am I going to line up with what they want? We don't see why that is a hard choice for you, knowing what you give up when you line up with them instead of with who you really are, you see? These are not difficult choices, but it's hard for most of you because others have taught you that selfishness is not virtuous, that looking out for yourself and doing what feels good to you will lead you to selfishness, will deprive others of something that they need from you. But what they've forgotten is none of them were going to get it from you anyway. They were all going to get it directly from source. That's their misunderstanding. And you perpetuate their misunderstanding when you try to be the source that gives them what they want. Esther has a dear friend who lives in another country. She's been helping him out financially for years, trying to bring it to an end to help him find his independence. And finally, he said, where is it? And Esther said, it's not coming from me anymore. You have to find your own independence. Please. I'm counting on this. Esther said, I know you are. And that's what's wrong with all of this. You're counting on it coming from a place it should never have been coming. Not for this long. Not for this long. I am insulting you when I assume that I am your path of least resistance. I insult you. You have direct access to all of the energy that creates worlds. You have direct access. But no, I've made you believe in your dependency on me. Had to get really big before Esther realized it, you see. And then she realized she was not only setting herself free from diverging from her path, she was setting him free too, you see. He doesn't know it yet, but he will in time. He will find his way. He will find his way, you see. Enough?
Yes, I got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.